San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir! It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. Happy Thursday, everybody. My name's Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2. Hope everyone's having a good day. This show is about sports, pop culture, nostalgia, getting beaten up about movie reviews, all sorts of things like that. James Pledger's producing this show. My co-host today is Carl Schoenig. Carl, how you doing, my man?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Wouldn't do any good if I did.
Oh, very, very true, man. So, Pledge, this time yesterday, we were getting phone calls of people complaining about a movie review that I had not even done yet because I dared to review the movie Tombstone, which I had never seen before, and I do movie reviews every Wednesday. And, man, I got roasted yesterday on Twitter.
As well you should have.
Why?
Because
I have to agree with everybody else that a movie that really wasn't that good was great.
It really was good.
Because I got a feeling that people agree with me and don't want to say it.
No, it's not about anything more than, let's say, Anchorman or Ace Ventura. It's not a great movie. It is just a really fun movie to watch. That's what Tombstone is. I never parsed it as it was the greatest Western of all times. It is a fun, eminently quotable movie that you can just kick back, throw on, and repeat the words to as it's on.
I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but people here at the San Antonio Sports Star reached out to me and said, I didn't like the movie either. Or I didn't think it was, or it's overrated.
I know Rob didn't like it.
And some, like Carl said, not Carl, Rudy J said that he had never seen it before.
No, I've never seen it either.
Carl hasn't seen it either.
Mm-hmm. What year was it made?
1993.
I was 2.
Well, I mean, see, and that's the thing, man, because I think the perspective that I have, and that's the great thing about Wednesday's movie reviews, is that all these movies I've never seen before, but the first time you see a movie, you think it's great because you were 15 years old or 20 years old at the time. Like right now, have you tried watching The Goonies?
Yes,
Goonies
still great.
Was a great movie growing up. One of the few movies I saw growing up, and I wanted to show it to my kids. And my God, that is an awful movie. As an adult, it's an awful movie. As a kid, it's a great movie. Now, someone asked me if I liked Westerns. To be honest with you, I don't, but I do like Young Guns. One of my favorite movies growing up.
I mean, Young Guns is a great movie. Also an older movie. The Saint, an older movie.
The Saint's a good
great movie. And that is a lazy excuse, Carl. I was 2. Yeah, there's a bunch of movies that were out before I was born that I watched, mainly the Star Wars.
Now those are
the
exceptions.
Star Wars. Did you put the Star Wars?
Yeah,
you put
the Star Wars,
like the Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carl, what movies are out there that you've never seen that basically everyone your age says that they've seen?
My age is a little bit different, but the one that I constantly take stuff for is Coming to America.
Wow. Well, that was before you were born.
That was before I was born too. Yeah,
but that's a great
which is
movie.
Lazy though.
Okay, now for those of y'all out there, listen up. Coming to America is an A++. That is in my Mount Rushmore of comedies. My 4 favorite comedies of all time. Coming to America is one of them. So you should watch that movie.
What about Coming to America 2?
I did see the sequel, and I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was great. I thought it could have been better, but I thought it was fine. And the people who complained about the sequel wanted it to be about Eddie Murphy's character and Akeem and Semi, wanted to be about them. But the good part of the movie was that it moved forward with the kids. That was the thing about it, is that it wasn't all about the old cast. They were trying to introduce a new cast, okay?
In the new Coming to America?
Okay. Which I think upset a lot of people because they wanted to go back in time. But you can't do that. I mean,
why not?
Well, partially because some of the characters had passed away, like in real life, so it's just one of those things. But I thought it was a decent, Coming to America 2 was decent, okay? B-, but I didn't have any expectations for it because it had been so long. Give me another movie. Like have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Oh yeah, I like Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of cult classics.
How old were you when Pulp Fiction came out?
What year did it come out?
Had to be
About 92 or so?
It had to be early to mid 90s.
See, now there's directors that I make exceptions for. Quentin Tarantino, I've seen most of his stuff. Star Wars, that's not necessarily directors. Mel Brooks was brought up in the chat. I've seen a lot of those kinds of movies. But when you're just throwing out kind of random movies that have popped up along the 80s and early 90s, there's a chance I haven't seen it. Die Hard, I've never seen the original Die Hard.
What?
I've seen what was it? Live Free or Die Hard. I liked that all right.
Wait, you saw the sequels, but you didn't see the original.
Well, Live Free or Die Hard came out before streaming services. Like we're talking back when blockbusters were the only way you could really get previously made movies without tracking down a VHS somewhere.
Hold on, Blockbuster on a Friday night was it as a kid? Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying they didn't have everything, and I didn't watch everything.
Oh, they had Die Hard.
They most definitely did. Now, but I want to put you two guys on the spot here. Okay, by the way, yes, rumor has it, as I've mentioned before, this is a sports show. We will be talking about sports. 12:20, our long shots, who to win the Super Bowl. I know Green Bay is up there, and Tampa's up there, and Tennessee is up there, but we want to talk about long shots.
I know they're a 1 seed. Is Tennessee really up there?
They're a 1 seed. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Nashville. So who is our long shot to win the Super Bowl? 12:30, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5, talking up to us about the Spurs. Oh my goodness. Lost to the worst team in the West. We called the Houston Rockets the slump busters all day yesterday, and we were the slump buster. So we will go into that 12:30. 1 o'clock, we're talking Cowboys and lots of other topics out there. You know, I found out earlier today that Pledger has never had a donut from La Popular Bakery. And I so desperately want him to have one. Have you ever had one?
No, can't say I have.
Oh, we'll get into that in the 1 o'clock hour. So, not doing it.
Why is that?
I've fallen for the Mexican bakery before. I've fallen for it. Every time I get one of those conchas that looks sweet and delicious and delectable,
and they're dry,
is awful.
It's an acquired taste. I will say
not falling for it again.
Okay.
You parse things up as sweet and savory and amazing, and every time I bite into it, it is a big disappointment.
At 1 o'clock, we're going to convince Pledger and Carl to have Mexican sweetbread, pan dulce, from La Popular. I'll bring it tomorrow. Okay, how about that? I'll pay for it. I'll bring it tomorrow. And you know what? If you agree with my recommendation here, reach out to us. The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Just search for San Antonio Sports Star. Again, we're going until 2 o'clock, but let's go back to these movies over here. Okay, I didn't say that Tombstone was a bad movie. I just said that it was just an average movie, maybe a little bit above average. I described it as being a D- movie the first hour. But after the first hour, I gave it an A-. It averaged out to C+, man. It just is what it is. If I graded on a curve, I would have been B-. And even if I had said B-, people still would have criticized me. And the one thing I've learned about all this
would have been okay with a B grade.
Is that people are on Twitter right now saying, don't do any more movie reviews. Don't do that. This is insulting. And then I put out 4 other candidates. And guess what? People are voting on it, right? So we have about 100 people voting on it. John Dyer from Spurs and Salsa podcast helped me with this list because American Me was forever part of the top 4 list and it just never got to the top. So I moved it out. So we've added on there Blood In, Blood Out, which is always second place. We added Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and Officer and a Gentleman.
You've never seen Grease?
Never seen Grease.
Never seen Grease here too.
I know the songs.
I don't know the songs.
I know the memes.
I mean,
memes weren't around when Grease came out.
Hey, Pledge, can I tell you what one of my first jobs was growing up? Like my first paying jobs?
Were you a singer at Six Flags?
No, my first paying job was McDonald's, right? My second paying job, believe it or not, was the San Antonio Express News hired me to do a movie review once a month for a year. And I was published alongside Larry Ratliff and is it Bob Polonsky?
Were you fired in 3 months?
No, they loved me. I was a great writer. And that's when I started watching movies. But those were current movies. Those were movies that were coming out, and I was their teen movie critic back in the day. and I will bring you. I have framed photos or framed clips of these movie reviews, but I want to put you guys on the spot real fast before we move on. I have the ability to say that I dislike movies or think certain movies are overrated that are popular. I want you guys on the spot right now to tell me a movie that everybody loves that you don't like. And I'll do the Jeopardy theme song if you want me to.
Everybody loves, but you don't like, huh?
Yeah.
That's a tough one because I'm going to go out on a limb and say Titanic. I'm so over Titanic being considered a great movie. I saw it when I was like 5, so maybe that's part of it. I didn't know what was going on. Maybe I need a fresh rerun, but
Yeah.
Titanic is like on a lot of people's top 5.
There you go. What do you think, Pledge? Give me a movie. That's a good because almost everybody, like 95% of people love Titanic. And I'm okay with Titanic. It was a good movie.
So, I gotta find a movie that most people enjoy.
Yes.
That I disliked.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is a brain buster.
So what you're saying is you're a conformist?
No.
I mean, you just go with the flow.
I like a bunch of movies that people don't like as well.
Well, I didn't realize this song was more than 30 seconds.
Oh,
is this
yeah,
a loop?
I got this.
You got this on a loop?
No. This is...
I like Carl's, though. I like Carl saying...
I had to think about it, too, because, usually you think of the popular movies. Like, if I said Forrest Gump, I'd probably not make it to my car after this.
Well, I mean, I had somebody tell me the other day that they didn't like Pulp Fiction. And I was like, how do you not like Pulp Fiction? That's an incredible movie.
It's a little all over the place for everybody. It's very all over the place. What am I talking about?
Oh, it is, and that's the beauty of it all.
It is, but I think it confuses some people to the point of they don't like it.
I like the comment we just had on Facebook Live. Stephen Conto, the boat sank. That's the Titanic. No, the Titanic is about...
Shocker.
The Titanic is about a one-night stand and a woman throwing away hundreds of millions of dollars worth of money by throwing a jewel into the ocean that could have set up her family for generations to come. That's what it's about.
Okay, here's one. I know most people, at least that I talk to, love The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay.
An old Sean Connery movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan.
Okay. I appreciate you offering one up there. It wasn't like one of the greatest movies of all time or the most popular movies of all time. It was popular for a little while, but okay, I appreciate you playing. But movie reviews are out right now, okay? And people are asking me which one I'm going to do now. So again, you can vote on this if you go on to Twitter and go on to my page or my handle at Mike ESPN SA. By the way, Carl's at Carl ESPN, Carl with a K, and Pledger's at I Am Pledger. This poll will go until we'll go to the end of the show today. But I'm telling you what, right now, I might get in trouble, man. Blood In, Blood Out is winning right now with 51% of the vote. Urban Cowboy at 26%, Grease at 15%, and Officer and a Gentleman at only 8%.
Steven Zimmeril says he doesn't like Avatar. Fun fact?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
There you go. See?
Never seen Avatar.
We all have our quirks, man. We all have our quirks.
Critically acclaimed. I think you would like it, but I can understand people not liking it. It felt like it dragged a little too long. Fun fact about that movie, I think it was Johnny Damon or somebody along those. Who's the guy that played the Bourne Supremacy?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Wait. You got Matt Damon wrong?
He was Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon played for the Red Sox. Yeah.
Johnny Damon was center field, right?
Yeah. Matt Damon was supposedly offered 5% of the total revenue for Avatar if he played the lead character. He turned it down, and it became the highest grossing film of all time.
Now, Carl, technically, Johnny Damon was in a movie, Moneyball.
Yeah.
Right? They're talking about him being traded from the A's to the Boston Red Sox, which, by the way, Moneyball.
Wasn't he also in Fever Pitch?
He was in Fever Pitch.
Movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting about Moneyball. Moneyball is a movie where I hate saying this because it's so pretentious when someone does, but I read that book. I don't read a lot of books. I think the last 2 books that I read ultimately became movies. I read a book called The Accidental Billionaires, which became The Social Network.
Oh.
So I was on a business trip and I was like, I need something to read. I got that book and I was like, oh man, they're making it into a movie. I read Moneyball before it came out. And the book is really, really good. But Moneyball, the movie, even though Jonah Hill had a good performance and Brad Pitt had a good performance, it's just like an okay movie. I mean, it's not great. It's okay. But I watched it a lot last year because I had my gallbladder removed and I was in the hospital for a couple of days. And at University Hospital, they have like movies on demand and there's only like 15 choices. And Moneyball was like the best choice. So I watched it like on a loop. So now it has sentimental value for me here.
That's understandable. I thought that I don't have the Oakland A's roster from that movie's time period in front of me, but I thought they really kind of buried that they had a lot of good players on that team. It's not like they were just that nobody else wanted, but they're analytically perfect. So we're just going to throw them together. But that's the way it would seem if you watch the movie.
Yeah, it was about Hatterberg and David Justice. I think were the only two that they really focused on. Hey, dude, I noticed your big blue bottle of water over here.
I noticed your half-drank bottle of Coke in front of you.
Okay, first of all, so last night, I realized I had not had my 67 ounces of water. So I sat there having dinner with 50 ounces of water, okay? And I had it before going to bed, and what ended up happening was I got up and went to the restroom 3 times overnight because I had so much water before going to bed, but I will spread it out today. But Rudy J says he's never seen you finish an entire bottle.
As I'm taking a sip and swallowing it. Yeah, well, it starts at 7 a.m. and it's 116 ounces that goes until 9 p.m. So if I fill it up all the way, then I should only be about halfway done by the time I walk out of the building. But I usually just come in, drink some from the night before because I leave it in my car, and then I fill it on up and get to like 1 p.m., 11, and then I try not to keep this thing empty, so I always have water, essentially.
I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you a room temperature water drinker? Because there's no way that thing stays cold throughout the day.
You know, it's funny. It's actually cold when I come into the car because it's so cold these days, but yes, I will drink room temperature water.
That's weird.
Well, I don't have access to an ice machine here at work. Do I?
I know.
Yeah, there are ice trays and all of
that. Is so funny. We have ice trays. You have to fill it with water and then wait until the next day.
Yeah, you know how annoying that is?
If you were to fill it up,
you want me to take all the ice?
Empty it out, and before you leave, fill up the ice trays. It will be frozen again tomorrow when you get here to refill your water.
You want me to take all the ice every day, though, for my big water jug?
There are multiple trays.
There's multiple trays? Okay, I'll have to find out where these trays you speak of are. But no,
usually
I'm fine
in
with
the freezer.
Yeah, I'm fine with room temperature.
Gabriel Chacon reaching out to us on Facebook saying Major League. Now that's a good movie.
Oh, you've seen
that's a quote. Oh, dude, I've seen Major League hundreds of times. And I would say this. I even saw it at the movie theaters with my dad.
What's your grade?
Major League, that's an A+. That's most definitely an A+. A++ on Major League. I mean, talk about quotable movies. Now, there is one problem that I have with Major League that we really need to sort out, okay?
Don't do it.
Okay, can I do this and still call it an A+? Okay, it's at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, Willie Mays Hayes gets onto first base, right? And who bunts the ball to get him all the way home, right? Because he's trying to steal second. Oh, he's still second. And then he's trying to, it's basically a hit and run. We have a
overthrow to first. There's a throwing error.
Yes. Okay. My question.
It's Taylor.
Yes.
Taylor. Jack Taylor. Or Jake Taylor, right?
Jake Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Taylor batting second in the lineup? He's a catcher.
I'm pretty sure whether it's Justin Morneau or who is Buster Posey, I'm pretty sure they were cleanup hitters in Major League Baseball.
Okay, cleanup is 4. Okay.
Oh, I'm aware.
There is not one catcher out there that I know of that bats 1, 2, or 3 because they have gear.
False.
Okay, well,
Craig Biggio early in his career.
Yeah, he batted second. He did bat second early in his career. But that being said,
as a catcher,
did Craig Biggio have wheels?
Yes.
Okay. Did Jake Taylor in Major League, who had bad knees, and that's why he was playing in the Mexican minor leagues, did he have wheels? Why would you have the slowest player on your team batting second behind Willie Mays Hayes?
He beat the bunt.
Yeah, he did bunt.
He did, but he beat the bunt. He got to first.
Well, because everyone played back because he called his shot.
That's right. That's
you know,
funny,
and the guy says, "Oh crap!" and then he's chasing after the ball, bare hands it with his right, flicks it over to first, and then the first baseman looks off to the side and starts arguing with the umpire or the umpire there, and then Willie Mays Hayes is making his way home. Again, great movie. The whole even the whole relationship scenes with Rene Russo were fantastic. But why is he batting second? There's no way in the world. And this is almost as bad as like Bad News Bears when that one dude with the long hair batted like 5 times and everyone else batted just once.
You're asking a question and filibustering, not allowing me to explain why he was batting second.
Yeah.
There is a lot of times where you would think a Carlos Correa would be a perfect cleanup hitter. You know, his average stats, everything suggests he should be hitting third or fourth in the order. But for some reason, they just hit better 6th. Like it's a team chemistry thing. Maybe Jake Taylor, when they went on that run to shake up the lineup, he moved them up to second. And he was like, well, it's working. I'm not going to change it.
So Roger Dorn's batting 9, right?
Yeah.
In all of this. And by the way, I have seen the sequels to Major League, and most of them are awful. The third one was the worst. The second one was kind of bad. You know, there was some funny scenes.
The second one was funny, though.
The second one had some funny scenes.
The third one was a cash grab, but they at least got Bob Bucher back in it.
They did. But Pedro Serrano, man, dude's making a lot of money with Allstate, man. And what TV show was he on? He was on a really big show. Dennis Haysbert, I think is his name.
Yeah, he's been in some stuff. I can't remember. You're right. He's just doing Allstate money now.
He's the president from 24.
24, that's right. Huts for Butts. Oh, God, I love that movie. Major League, A++. I'm going to tweet that out, see if I get any love, or if people are going to think that I'm pandering. But let's get some headlines in. Here's Pledger with the 411 and the 210.
Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
We'll start things off this hour with a trade in the NBA.
What?
You know the Atlanta Hawks have traded Cam Reddish?
Spurs got him?
The Spurs did not get him because according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the Hawks have traded the forward and former lottery pick, plus veteran small forward Solomon Hill, and a 2025 second-round pick via Brooklyn to the New York Knicks in exchange for former lottery pick Kevin Knox and a protected first-round pick via the Charlotte Hornets.
What do you think, Carl?
You know, if he was, I know a lot of Spurs fans wanted Cam Reddish on the roster. He kind of fits in with the timeline and things like that. But that's a little bit too much that I don't think the Spurs were willing to match in terms of assets exchanged and contracts. So, you know, good for Cam Reddish. He gets to go to a solid team in New York, and he has one more year on his deal. Maybe you can get that extension he's looking for that they were not going to give him in Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a little bit much to ask for. But, man, Kevin Knox, I like Kevin Knox's game. He's somebody that has a lot of potential out there. Maybe can take it to another level, go into a different team. But I'm supportive of it. I mean, I think it's a good trade. This is another player, Cam Reddish. He's not the guy that I want for the Spurs. The guy I want for the Spurs is Miles Turner. We got to make that happen.
And this is a non-big name trade. Like
Right.
These guys were not going to be involved in a Ben Simmons or a Miles Turner trade. This is a fair, you know, these guys are role players at the moment. Let's switch role players. You get a second, you get a first. Kevin Knox ends up in Atlanta, and back in New York is Cam Reddish with his former teammate, R.J. Barrett.
I know Kevin Knox for his career averaging just 8 points for his career, averaging 20 minutes a game. But, man, coming out of college, this guy was somebody that people had a lot of high hopes on. So hopefully he can turn it around. He's just 22 years old.
Headline 1.
The Vikings are giving Eagles front office personnel, Catherine Reisch, the first female GM interview request.
Wow.
According to ESPN, Reisch, who is the vice president of football operations for the Philadelphia Eagles, is believed to hold the most senior ranking team personnel position for a woman in NFL history. Susan Toast Spencer was the first female general manager in NFL history, working for the Eagles from 82 to 85. Is this a big deal for the landscape of sports?
Oh, it's a very big deal, especially when they're qualified for these positions. I know in San Antonio, we wanted Becky Hammond to be promoted to head coach, at least if it wasn't for the Spurs someplace else. She's going to the Aces in Las Vegas, so that's a big deal. No, the New York Yankees earlier this week hired a female for their manager position for one of their minor league teams. So that's amazing. They're very qualified, and it'd be exciting to see if she can get it.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add. It is kind of a big deal. Yeah, but it is kind of a big deal. But also at the same time, there's certain groups of people that kind of want us to assume that, oh yeah, this should be normal, so don't make it a big deal. But I think the first handful of these women being able to get high level roles in men's sports really does mean that we're starting to get over the stigma that women shouldn't be in men's sports.
You make it a big deal till it's not a big deal.
Exactly.
That's fair. I like that.
Headline 0.
Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers getting that first round bye may have ended up being a bad thing for the rest of the NFL, as it sounds like his toe injury might not really be a thing once the NFL playoffs start for the Packers.
Okay, come on.
Practice today, close to 100%. I think I should be 100% probably by next week.
So, 100% Aaron Rodgers. Is that a bad thing for the rest of the NFC and the NFL?
Okay, first of all, Aaron Rodgers should be the MVP this year. And if not, he'll be a runner-up, right? But more than likely will win it. I understand that they're the 1 seed, but they're not unbeatable. I mean, I know there's like this mythology behind Aaron Rodgers because he's the most talented quarterback we've seen in a long time. The more accomplished one is Tom Brady, but, from actual talent standpoint, that's Aaron Rodgers. But the fact of the matter is, dude has not won a Super Bowl in over a decade. This team is beatable. They're always beatable. And whenever you're playing in cold weather, anything can happen. So it's great that he's healthy. They won't have any excuses. But let's not sit here and think that it's a foregone conclusion that the Packers are going to be in the Super Bowl.
What? He threw something like 20 touchdowns and had no picks while on this toe? No one believes he really broke his toe. I think he just wanted to give us the toe.
Wow.
He showed us the toe.
Do you remember in Seinfeld when they said, I wouldn't be offended if I got the finger. I would be offended if I got the toe. It's a lot more effort to give the toe. He was giving the media the toe. That's what was going on there. It was a deep Seinfeld reference from pretty much the biggest troll in athletics right now. Joel Embiid has been passed by Aaron Rodgers, who's just doing a terrible job of being a troll.
Love it.
It's not the dinosaur in Toronto?
Oh, I do love that one. In fact, I heard that.
That's the 411 and the 210.
I heard that conversation yesterday, and none of y'all brought up the curtain of distraction as Arizona State as the best free throw distraction.
What was that?
They literally, the student section at Arizona State had this black curtain that while the free throw was going on, they would just pull the curtain back and something would be behind it.
Yeah, no, that's the one I brought up. That's the one I brought up where they gave birth.
Oh, you know what? They might have done that one time. They had Michael Phelps.
I didn't know exactly which school it was, but I knew like they had very elaborate things that they did in the stands.
They had like plays where like Santa Claus was fighting an elf. Yeah, they just had ridiculous stuff.
That's awesome. It should all be allowed, okay? Don't point lasers at their eyes. None of that.
Fair.
That's fair. But everything else should be go. You should have the mascot be doing backflips and whatnot. But Devin Booker complaining about that because he sees a mascot. The only thing in the stands he complained about. That was ridiculous. But we have more to go on halftime. We go till 2:00 when we come back. Special guest, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. We're going to be making apologies to one James Pledger because his team, the Houston Rockets, the worst team in the West, beat the Spurs at the AT&T Center last night.
Slump buster.
Yeah, man, slump buster. We call the Rockets the slump buster, and it didn't go that way, man. We're talking Spurs when we come back. Cowboys at 1:00. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
You tall guys, man. I feel like y'all's job is always easier.
Oh, it's always easy.
Especially you a hooper, the girls go crazy because they're 6'4", 6'6". Like, there's no work involved. Down here, we got to work. We got to have conversation. Down here, you got to have game.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means the prescription medication to treat ED is super affordable at 4hims.com. And now get your first online doctor's visit free at 4hims.com. That's right. Zero copay, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's really good news. To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/joy.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the course keeps changing right before your eyes. And in order to maneuver it, you need an expert by your side. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PC and tech solutions you need to help you get out in front and stay ahead of the game. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you can get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
Are you thinking about selling your car? Don't get tricked with 2-minute offers only to spend 4 hours at a dealership. I want you to check out my friends at Car Zeus. It's Rudy J here. Car Zeus is not a dealership, so you don't need to worry about shady sales tactics just to lure you in the door. I'm talking about saving you time and hassle. Simply fill out a form about your car's condition at carzeus.com, and a local agent will text you an offer during business hours. No obligation. Plus, they pay the same day and even provide a courtesy Lyft ride home. That's carzeus.com.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Dallas Cowboys are back in the playoffs. First round action starts Sunday when they welcome the San Francisco 49ers to AT&T Stadium, Jerry World. All starts at 2:30 with pregame and kickoff set for 3:30. Your home for the Dallas Cowboys football is San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and powered by Ewald Kubota. Welcome back to Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Speaking of Cowboys, I'll be having a viewing party for the boys over at Twin Peaks on 151 and 410. So if you want to come out, watch the game with me, I'll be there starting at 2:30. We'll be giving away prizes. And, if you have a take on my movie reviews, that's your chance to come and confront me. But if you're going to confront me, buy me a beer first. But you heard a groan right there from Jeff Garcia of Ken's 5 and Locked On Spurs. He's joining me and Carl right now because, man, I think we owe apologies, all three of us, to James Pledger. At 3, let's all say we're sorry.
Pledge.
1, 2, 3. We're sorry.
You're a Rockets fan.
Pledge. Sorry, Rockets fan there. Yeah.
But in my defense, I actually was the one guy who said every game while we're out with COVID is going to have players out with COVID is going to be an uphill battle. So,
but the Spurs got some players back. Devin Vassell was back.
They did. That was a nice surprise.
Keldon Johnson was back. And the Spurs still lost last night to the Houston Rockets, giving up 39 points in the first quarter. 39 points to the worst team in the West. Rockets beat the Spurs at the AT&T 128-124. I did get something right in a prediction. I said that DeJounte Murray would not only have a triple-double, but he would score more than 30 points in doing so. He did do that, but that was the only bright spot, man, because ugly game.
Is it just me, Carl Jimenez, that Pop is going to the soft card a lot more often lately? He's starting to use that word out there. And when they come out soft as they did against Houston the other night, not a good sign. Michael, you and I talked about this on Lockdown Spurs, which will debut tomorrow, about this team. You can pretty much book how the game is going to go after the first quarter or the third quarter. If they come out soft out of the gate in the first quarter, more than likely they're going to lose. If they're trailing after the third, even if it's by 1 point, they're going to lose. They're 0-24 if they're trailing after the third period. These are just signs of a team that's still developing, still growing, but I still think that loss versus Houston was just inexcusable. To come out the way they did versus the Rockets the first period, to give up that many points, to just not capitalize and sustain the momentum they had. They had quite some impressive runs. They just couldn't keep it down. I was very ticked off about the Spurs after that loss. Still a little kind of uneasy about it, but at the end of the day, Carl, I feel like, why should we be surprised that they lost to Houston? I mean, this is a team that, you don't know what you're going to get game in and game out.
Now the Spurs fall to 15-26 for the year. We're halfway through the season. Right now, a game and a half behind Portland for the 10th spot in the West to get into the play-in tournament. We'll also have to leapfrog Sacramento because Sacramento's at 11.
Yeah.
But we're taking a look at it right now. The Spurs right now are tied for the 6th worst record in the NBA. It's so weird, man, because, again, I keep talking about this. The Spurs are a couple of games away from being in the play-in tournament and also a couple of games away from going the opposite way and being a top 5 team potentially in the draft. But Carl and I were having this debate, and also with Pledger before the show started, because, we obviously we're sports fans. We're Spurs fans. And we were talking about free agency and stuff like that. And, man, I take a look at this team and I think to myself, this team is not going to be built on free agency. It's not going to rebuild on free agency because nobody wants to come to San Antonio.
Not with that attitude.
San Antonio is a great city to raise families and retire.
Well, Carl, historically, do the big name free agents come to San Antonio? Historically.
Well, last year was the last time they had salary cap space, and everybody that was worth going after was a restricted free agent in terms of, John Collins and so on. But that cap space was probably really meant for a Giannis kind of player, and he was already signed an extension. Last time they had cap space before that, they signed LaMarcus Aldridge, and then they really didn't have much cap space during the Big Three era. They got a lot of good mid-level exception players. I'm sure you could name a ton of mid-level exception players going back to David West not too long ago.
How many stars? How many stars? LaMarcus Aldridge is the only
Finley,
star. End of his career. End of his career.
But that's a different situation. The Spurs didn't have money to spend. They could only say, "Hey, we have a role for you to try and win a championship."
The Spurs can have twice the money to spend. They can have double everyone else. They could offer everybody $10 million more. No one wants to come to San Antonio that is 25 years old and in their prime. They just do not want to, unless two things. And I've two things: an international player who does not care because they're on a business trip when they were playing in the NBA, or two, someone who already has ties to Texas. And that's why I want the Spurs to do everything they can to go after Miles Turner, who played at UT. That's the only way they're going to do it. And if not doing it that way, then you have to build through the draft. Jeff, the Spurs are playing Cleveland next, right? That team is showing how it gets done. They have Evan Mobley, who they drafted number 3 in the draft and is a Rookie of the Year candidate. They have Darius Garland that they drafted number 5. They got Lauri Markkanen in a trade. They got Kevin Love out there. They are rebuilding, and they are now a relevant team in the East. But that is the template.
But look how long it took them to rebuild.
5 years.
You lose a guy by the name of LeBron James, that's going to hurt. For the Spurs, you're losing a guy like Kawhi Leonard, that's going to hurt. So it took time. But you're right. They built through the draft mainly. Drafting smart. Making the swing for Lauri Markkanen. They got him. And I want to go back to Carl's point about the free agency, and them big name free agents coming to San Antonio. Even in the height of the Spurs dynasty era, and these other players that are out there looking for titles, top name quality players, that dynasty aura, that Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu, it wasn't enough for them to sign on the dotted line, even to chase a title, as we've seen some of these super teams do nowadays. When LeBron and Bosh and Wade teamed up, they made sacrifices. They made financial sacrifices, playing time sacrifices to chase that ring. You didn't see that in San Antonio, even when they were dominating the league. Playoff, every season still wasn't enough. But as far as the Cavs and rebuilding, the Spurs may have to take a page out of the Cavs book. That's the way it's going to go, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. The Spurs fans got to be patient. Not going to happen overnight. The only way it's going to happen overnight, Michael, is if, and James, probably chime in on this, they just bottom out and get a top pick.
And I'm supportive of that.
Fast forward this.
I am supportive of that because
some of these guys, or flip some of these young guys.
The Spurs have been built through the draft, and I'm not talking about drafting players at 29 like Keldon Johnson or Derek White or DeJounte in that range. That's not what's going to get it done. What's going to get it done is a top 5 pick, that type of player. Because if you look at every team that is a contender right now, most of them are being led by players that are drafted in the top 5. Now, there's some stray teams out there, like Jokic was a second rounder, and you have players like Jimmy Butler, who was drafted.
Giannis was 15.
Giannis was 15. Kawhi was in that range as well. So, don't get me wrong, you can get the stray star player. But the fact of the matter is that the Spurs need to have the top talent. And we were talking about this, Jeff, earlier today. Everyone says the Spurs do so well drafting at 29, do so well drafting at 26. Imagine what they can do drafting at 5.
Well, here's the thing, too, Michael, is, they got to look at reality, too, and how you think it'd be easy for this team to keep these young budding stars together in the future?
Well, they're not stars. They're not stars.
Well, here's the thing. They're going to want to get paid. Look at Lonnie.
Yeah.
He's betting on himself, and he's going out on a restricted free agency. DeJounte, good on the Spurs for, wrapping him up early, but eventually that contract is going to end up and wind down. Derek as well, Keldon as well. Can't forget about Keldon. So, how the Spurs can rebuild, knowing that they got to keep these young, good players together in this rebuild while bringing in a big name talent. Now, DeJounte seems to be on that path right now, but we'll see exactly what he does as his career moves forward.
In a different world, Lonnie Walker is averaging 16, 17 points for a different team. I think the wrong team drafted him. It just didn't work well together. And that's not saying anything bad about Lonnie, not saying something bad about the coaching. I just think the system was wrong for him.
Do you think he's done after the season in San Antonio? Like he's off somewhere else.
If I was him, I'd leave. What's the point of staying here? How much money have the Spurs cost him by limiting him to the bench, to being the 8th guy off the roster, off the bench? 3rd guy off the bench, 8th player on the team.
Changed this season. That's changed this season. There was a report out there he bought a home in San Antonio. Wants to plant his roots in San Antonio.
That's an investment.
Maybe
that's an investment. Be sold the next day.
Man, you're pessimistic today. Nobody wants to come to San Antonio. A guy buys a house in San Antonio. It's an investment. The thing is, Lonnie Walker's 22 years old, and he was coming into his own right before COVID. And this is the first year they actually has a, consistent role. So, the real thing is, and I just trying to figure out some math here. I think his qualifying offer, and maybe this, Jeff, is somewhere around like 6.9. And that's probably less than the number that he would sign an extension for, roughly around it. So, it makes more sense for both parties to just go ahead and let him go into restricted free agency and be able to maximize your cap space. And if Lonnie can go out there and find somebody willing to pay him $10, $12 million, it comes down to the Spurs are a year, are they going to match that? And then on top of that, Lonnie is only 22. If you get him for your second contract or his second contract, then, there's still room for improvement there. It's not like his career's over if he doesn't perform well this season.
Yeah, the qualifying offer is 6.3.
I wouldn't mind seeing Lonnie stick around, after this season. I think James has mentioned it too on Locked On Spurs, taking the John Collins Hawks route, when he was about to enter free agency. I think that's just smart for, not only for the Spurs, but for Lonnie, just everybody involved. But yeah, there's a, as much as this team is in a rebuild, there's so many, crevices and facets to this because, you got the NBA trade deadline looming. That's fast approaching. We know Thad is on his way out. So what are the Spurs going to do with that? You got the Lonnie situation. You got Pop's, immediate future with the team. There's so many things going on in this rebuild. And what my point is this is going to take time before things settle down again the way they were during their golden era with the Big Three.
They got to bottom out, man. They've got to bottom out.
We're not getting back to the golden era again. There's a reason it was the golden era.
Well, Carl, the reason why
contender soon.
The reason why it was a golden era was because Tim Duncan was drafted number 1. It was because David Robinson was drafted number 1 and Sean Elliott was drafted number 3. It's because we bottomed out. It's because we bottomed out. We can't sit here and go, man, I hope they make the play-in tournament. Why? So they can draft 9?
It's at the point now this season where getting into at least top 5 is kind of out of the question. Are we already past that point?
No.
We're not past it.
There's still a lot of road games left, and still COVID always looming.
Yeah, and they're only 2 games away from being top 5, provided that no one jumps ahead of them in the lottery and wins the lottery.
Gotcha.
So only a couple of games away from that. But man, it's not to be depressing. It's just trying to be realistic. We only have 2 more minutes in this segment, by the way. It's just being realistic about it all, because I think Spurs fans had expectations this year that were unrealistic. And we have to understand that you need stars to win in the NBA. And you don't need just one star. You need multiple stars. And the Spurs aren't going to get that in free agency because no one wants to play here. No one wants to play here. I'll say that 100 times.
Man, I'm never making you my GM. You can't go into a salary cap situation saying, well, the salary cap space is worthless since no one wants to come here.
Okay, let me qualify that. No American player wants to play here.
We got Marcus Aldridge like 4 years ago.
Again, he had ties to Texas.
So you're saying he has to be a Texan. Texan's not American.
It needs to have a Texas tie to it. It has to be a reason to be here. Again, San Antonio's a great city to raise a family and to retire. I'm born and raised here, right? I went to college here. I understand San Antonio. The fact of the matter is these young players would rather be in South Beach, would rather be in LA. They would rather be in New York. And these players collude with each other as to where they're going to go. Do you think they're sitting there late at night going, where we should go? We should go to Cleveland. We should go to San Antonio. We should go to Milwaukee. Well, maybe they'll go to Milwaukee because Giannis is there. But it's one of those things where I see the salary cap space and people get all excited about it. And I'm there going, that is a waste of money because it's not going to anywhere. The Spurs need to do some moves. They need to do some trades. They need to bottom out. And, that's Brian Wright's job. That's R.C. Buford's job. And then there needs to be also some direction as to what's going to happen with Pop in the future. Is he sticking around? Is he leaving? It's just one of those things, man. It's just
this is what a
turn the
rebuild
page.
Like.
You know what?
This
But
is what a rebuild looks
it's
like.
an unusual rebuild because we have a coach that is in his 70s. Rebuilds don't happen that way. Let's get some young blood in here. Let's get something new. Let's just get it going. Turn the page, turn the chapter. I've never seen a coach have their name retired on the rafters, but let's do that for Pop. Put a statue out there and make it happen. Hey, real fast before we let you go, Jeff, I want to thank
sir.
you for making me not famous but infamous on Twitter. You completely torched me because of my Tombstone.
Hey, you made it you make it public. Hey, get this, Carl. So Jimenez makes his thoughts public, and it's my fault. It's my fault.
You like to poke the bear with things. You like to tag him publicly. It's like you might not have listened to halftime, but at Mike ESPN SA said this.
You know what? I want Jeff with us on the next segment for a couple of minutes, if that's okay. I want you to tell us a movie that everyone loves that you hate. You've got 4 minutes to think about it. And at 1 o'clock, we'll be talking about the Cowboys. Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star continues on the other side, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The crazy world of SEC football.
I'm East Coast, baby. All you weak back Southern boys don't know nothing about East Coast.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, this afternoon at 2. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The San Antonio Spurs fell to the Houston Rockets last night, 128-124. The Rockets were led by Eric Gordon, who had 31 points and made 6 threes, while DeJounte Murray picked up a 32-point triple-double. The New York Knicks were too much for the Dallas Mavericks to handle, with the Knicks defeating Dallas 108-85 last night. R.J. Barrett put up 32 points to propel the Knicks to the win. Tonight in Norfolk, Virginia, the UTSA Roadrunners men's basketball team will be hosted by Old Dominion, a 6 p.m. tip-off on ESPN+. And the Dallas Cowboys received good news that Micah Parsons and Tyron Smith were both cleared from the COVID list and are expected to be active against the 49ers for the wildcard game. Kickoff is Sunday at 3:30 and can be heard right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Carl Sheldon.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
I need postcards printed and designed. Oh, and a targeted direct mail campaign.
It's possible at Staples.
I need my presentation printed, bound, and perfect.
Also possible. Your local Staples store can help your business navigate the future of work with custom printed sales and marketing materials. Now get 25% off custom printed labels, postcards, flyers, brochures, and more when you spend $60 or more. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 1/29 in store only. See staples.com/print for details.
Do you love your garage? Can you get your cars and the kids' bikes in? Jason Minix here for Garageization, your garage storage solution. With a variety of shelving, overhead racks, slat walls, and closed cabinet options, Garageization can make your garage functional for the entire family. Call 210-664-4494 and have them give you a free customized plan for your family's needs. For over a decade, Garageization has helped people love their garage. Learn more online at garageorganizationsanantonio.com.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? The eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. Try 5 pairs of frames for free. Go to warbyparker.com to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. That's warbyparker.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Start now with a free consultation at QC Kinetics. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Call today. 571-0318.
The Cowboys are on the road to the big game, and it all starts this Sunday as our Cowboys take on the 49ers, and San Antonio Sports Star is live to cover it all. Join us this Sunday at Twin Peaks Westover Hills location at 410 and 151 to help us cheer on the Cowboys. The party starts at 2:30 alongside the beautiful ladies of Twin Peaks. Of course, you know we always bring swag wherever we go. That's this Sunday, starting at 2:30 at Twin Peaks Westover Hills, the location at 410 and 151. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Pride.
Hey, listen up.
Tradition.
Let's keep it going.
Football.
Hold on.
The NFL playoff picture is coming together. Hear it unfold on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Joe Reinigle. Drive home with Jason Minix and me today at 4, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. My name's Mike. That's Carl. That's James. And we also see on our StreamYard on Facebook and YouTube, Jeff Garcia. This is a very quick segment, Jeff. You put my feet to the fire. I'm going to put yours to the fire right now.
Go ahead.
I asked you to think about a movie that you love, that everyone loves, that you do not like. You've had time to think about it.
Yep.
Tell me, what is it?
The recent Star Wars new trilogy, the sequels.
All of them.
Hate them. Can't stand them.
Most people didn't seem to like that, though.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
No, I think most people lean towards accepting them.
No, man. No,
that's a big difference between universally liked.
I agree with Carl. That's a lame take right there. You need to put yourself out there.
I'll give you another one. That I didn't like. I did not like The Last Crusade, Indiana Jones.
Oh, well, Pledger. Did you hear this?
No, I was waiting for Pledger's reaction.
He takes offense to that.
Yeah.
The Sean Connery one?
It was a little too slow paced. I didn't like.
Which, by the way, that wasn't the last one. The last one was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Very true.
That even existed. That doesn't exist in my head.
Real quick, quick, Jeff. Was the Goonies any good?
What do you mean? Like, it was a good movie. Yeah.
No, it was a good movie as a kid. It's a terrible movie as an adult. I dare you to watch it one more time.
I am not going to do that, He-Man. I'm not going to go down the He-Man's road.
Hey, thanks for being with us, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Check out his podcast. Check him out on Twitter. He's an amazing follow.
We got to get Carl on there. He ghosted me already.
Hey, I responded. You didn't respond to me. Who's ghosting who? I was taking a nap when you sent me a message, like an hour later. You're like, well, you didn't get back to me, so I guess not.
When we come back,
talk to you later.
We're talking Cowboys, our long shot to win the Super Bowl, and a big honor for Dak Prescott. This is Halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportsstar.com. Can you pick the perfect matchups all season long? If so, you could win $50,000. Weekly winners score gift cards to Pinkerton's Barbecue and the Mellow Mushroom. For official contest rules and to play, visit sasportsstar.com. Must be at least 21 years old to play this nationwide contest. One winner will be selected at the end of the season. The Pro Football Challenge from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
How do I know this check's going to clear? Is your money any good? I heard about you guys like that. Yeah, well, let me tell you something. We've already bought $1 billion worth of your used cars in 2021. $1 billion with a B. That means we do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And our money's good. And our transaction's good. We've got our stuff together. 1,000 to 100 grand, we're all over it. Where? Only at GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Now, an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Progressive is America's #1 motorcycle insurer, so we understand motorcycles. No, really, we have a bike translator.
Okay, so this bike says she is struggling with her place in the motorcycle community. Well, she says she hasn't peaked yet, but she's having a little epiphany, okay? Oh, that maybe life itself is the peak. Interesting. In my experience, I found that... Oh, so I just translate. Not allowed to have opinions. Got it.
Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. When you have cough and chest congestion, you need a medicine that's effective and long-lasting. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Mucinex 12-hour DM extended release bilayer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving cough and chest congestion for 12 hours. Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Use as directed.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pie customer.
Workers' comp can crush a small business. Every year it would jump 5, 10, 15, 20%, even though there was never any claims. And that's where I was struggling as a growing business.
That's Mike Lozier, owner of Gutter Plumber, a small business in New Jersey. A while back, Mike found his workers' comp costs rising. Luckily, he discovered Pie Insurance.
From start to finish, it was extremely easy. They quickly came back to me with a plan that was affordable for me.
Are you overpaying for workers' comp? Just go to trypie.com, share a few details about your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle or hidden fees. Like Mike, we think you'll be glad you did.
I'm very happy that I moved over to Pi for my workers' comp so that I can grow my company while not breaking the bank.
Find out how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent or get a quote at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
A new year comes with new excitement, new ambitions, new milestones. Is this the year you pop the question, have a child? Celebrate a major anniversary. At Diamonds Direct, we're here for you, now more than ever. With our vast selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds, our world-renowned designer jewelry collections, our industry-leading warranties and guarantees, and our people. People with a passion for helping you mark any occasion with something that's both meaningful and timeless. And our commitment to providing exceptional value is stronger than ever in the new year. Whether you're just starting out on a tight budget or whether you're splurging on that 30th anniversary gift, Diamonds Direct will make sure you get the price that you expect from America's premier direct diamond importer. Welcome to a new year and welcome to Diamonds Direct, where extreme value combines with the ultimate luxury shopping experience to create that truly magical moment for the milestones in your life. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at Lock Ontario.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime.
Hour number 2, halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. Sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Lots to go over today. We'll have the Cowboys, talk the Cowboys this hour. Also, our long shots to win the Super Bowl. We'll find out what Carl thinks about Dak Prescott being named Offensive Player of the Week for the NFC against his Eagles. But, before the show started, we were talking, James Pledger producing the show, and I'd asked you if you'd ever had a donut from La Popular Bakery. Now, La Popular Bakery is all over the west side of San Antonio.
Never heard of La Popular
There's also
Bakery.
a lot in the south side as well. And I said, hey, I'm going to bring some donuts in tomorrow because, we were talking last week about tacos coming from fast food joints, whether it be Dairy Queen, whether it be Taco Bell, Jack in the Box. But I got thinking about donuts because I wanted a donut this morning. And I was driving around. And I was like, am I really going to go to Krispy Kreme? Am I really going to go to Shipley's? Am I really going to go to these places? Or do I go find a La Popular? And I decided to wait a day. I decided that I'm going to wait a day for a donut because tomorrow morning I will go find a La Popular or a Fiesta Bakery, as Ronald Schmidtka points out. It's kind of the same thing. And I asked Pledge, from a Mexican bakery, have you ever had a donut? Carl, have you ever had a donut from a Mexican bakery?
Can't say I've ever had a donut. No.
I mean, Jonathan Cease in Mario's Bakery on Castroville Road. I say La Popular because it probably has the one with the most locations in town, but there are other Mexican bakeries here. I cannot believe that you guys have been in San Antonio for so long without having this, man.
Really?
Come on.
What's the place? What's it called again?
Well, I like La Popular. There's other places as well. They're just donuts, man. They're just donuts. It's
Are they? Because I was led to believe
it's not pan dulce. You were upset about the conchas and stuff like that. No, it's an actual donut.
Every time I'm taken to a Mexican bakery to try Mexican what are considered delicacies, it's always a huge letdown.
No, this is just a donut.
It is a bait and switch where it's like, oh, this looks sweet and tasty and yummy, and then you bite into it and it's cardboard.
I know what you're saying because again, those are acquired tastes. When you get the
cardboard's an acquired taste.
Well, no, that's what you're supposed to dip it in coffee, man. Those pan de huevos, I think is what you're thinking of. And then you also have all these other things out there like they call it the piggy, if you will. Mexican bakeries next to a Mexican restaurant. Tacos Martinez on West Commerce has a La Popular right next to it, or a Fiesta Bakery right next to it. They're all over the place, all up and down Culebra Road. I'm gonna go get a dozen.
You know how far I am from Culebra Road?
Dude, you don't have to be, man. Come visit me from time to time. I'm off of Petranco.
I do need to go to Green Acres.
Yes, that Green Acres over in China Grove is so much fun. For those of you who miss Malibu Castle, because you're like, man, I wish I could go play putt-putt and do go-karts and play old school video games and whatnot.
Laser tag.
They even have paintball there.
Yeah.
They have batting cages. They've got the spray boats and all that stuff. Green Acres in China Grove on the southeast side.
I need to get out
is
there.
Amazing. It is a fun time. They even have keto pizza there, which is really good. My wife and I love it there. But we take our kids there at least about once a month or so. If they had season passes, we would have bought it by now. But that's a good time. But that's going to be on the docket. We need to do that in the next couple of months. And then we also need to get you some donuts. So, Carl, I'm bringing you a donut. Do you want a regular glazed donut or do you want a chocolate donut?
Give me a chocolate.
Chocolate donut. Okay. Pledge, glaze or chocolate?
So disappointed.
What? I think I prefer chocolate over glaze.
No, I'm just saying everything that you think is sweet that comes out of
it's a
Mexican
donut,
bakery.
dude. It's a donut.
I will eat a donut. My girlfriend is Mexican. She's taken me to several of these kinds of places. I've never actually had a bad experience.
Glaze.
Exactly. I would much rather
all of my experiences are bad.
I would much rather have a donut from H-E-B than I would rather have that from, say, a Krispy Kreme.
Shipley's
or anything. Now, Shipley's has what's called an old-fashioned cinnamon roll. That is good.
Their cinnamon roll, their kolaches, you get the cream-filled donut. Like all of those are just top-notch at Shipley's.
We will get these going, and we're also voting on this on Twitter right now, so you can come visit me at Mike ESPN SA. Where do you like getting your donuts from? Carl is at Carl ESPN, Carl with a K. Pledger is at I Am Pledger. By the way,
Pledger with a P.
Exactly. We were talking a little bit earlier about movies, and you asked me about the movie Major League. I put on Twitter A++++. Got a little bit of love, and I'm not pandering. That is what I think. It is also on my Mount Rushmore of comedies, Major League, along with Coming to America. But welcome back to Halftime. We talk about sports, pop culture, nostalgia, just a lot of bar talk without the alcohol. But man, Dak Prescott got an honor this week for the third time this season, named NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Against second stringers.
Yeah, so let me ask you that, Carl, because the Eagles are your favorite team. And Dak Prescott went off for 21 for 27, 295 yards, had 5 touchdown passes against the Eagles. Do you think it's fair for someone to get an award like Conference Player of the Week if they're playing backups?
Yes, because there's still NFL players that made their way there. You can't decide who you're going to go up against. You can only do what you can against who you're going up against. And he did really have a great game. I just kind of sarcastically said it was against backups because they were going up against, they were throwing rookies out there that I hadn't heard of. I don't think that their defense was anywhere near what you would expect to see it, but you know, that's just what happens when you lock up a playoff spot and there's really no good that winning the game will really do. I think at the end of it all, if the Eagles had won that game, they would not have moved up. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on that. Good for Dak. I guess the league had to give it to somebody, and he certainly, I think, deserved it if you look at the rest of the league.
You are being quite the gentleman when it comes to this, because I thought for sure you were going to go on a rant saying that there's no way in the world that he should have gotten it, that the Eagles were playing second and third stringers. I thought for sure you were going to say that.
He still balled out and broke Tony Romo's record, albeit in the 17th game of the season, but he also did not play, what was it, the Minnesota game?
Yeah.
So he only did it in 16. I guess that's the conversation we were having earlier. If you were to say, okay, he broke it, but in 17 games, but he didn't really play 17 games, but it's part of the 16-game schedule if he missed it too. So, yeah, just good for Dak. That's all I'll get at there. I'm not going to really be too mad about it because the Eagles weren't trying to win. They were throwing out guys that needed the extra reps more than anything.
And it was more than the defensive side. They didn't start Jalen Hurts either, and Miles Sanders didn't play. So they benched a lot of players. But congratulations to Troy Aikman to Dak Prescott. The reason why I have Troy Aikman in my head is because I'm looking up Troy Aikman stats right now. The reason why I'm looking it up is because I saw this interesting stat online, and I just wanted to verify that it was true. By the way, Dak Prescott getting the third time, he ties Troy Aikman for the honor of the most ever by a Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
Oh, wow.
But I saw a meme earlier today, and I was just checking right now to see if it's true, and it appears to be true. And it said that Tom Brady has the same amount of touchdowns, 188, that Troy Aikman had his entire career. So Troy Aikman had 188 touchdowns his entire career. Tom Brady has 188 since turning 40.
Yeah, Tom Brady has thrown more touchdowns in his 40s than he did in his 20s. That's never happened before, I'm sure.
How ridiculous is this? And do you think that Brady's going to be around for 2, 3, 4 more years? Because we've seen Big Ben retire, or he's going to retire at the end of the season. At least everyone seems to think that. You know, we've seen Eli Manning retire, Drew Brees retired, all this old guard, Phillip Rivers, they've all retired. But man, Romo is no longer playing, but Peyton Manning's no longer playing. Tom Brady right now is either going to win the MVP or be runner-up. He's going to be one of the two. At his age, do you think he's going to be around another 2 more years, 3 more years? What do you think?
He will have to take a very nasty hit and be carted off of the field before he retires. I think as long as he feels like he can physically go, which probably could be another 3-4 years the way he takes care of his body, I don't see why he doesn't play close to 50. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to be the first quarterback, that's first NFL player ever that's 50, right?
Absolutely ridiculous. You know, he is 44 years old right now, Tom Brady. I'm looking at his stats. He has 84,000 yards passing. Can you imagine if he gets to 100,000? He would need 3 more years like he's had this year, and he can get to right around 100,000. That's a nice round number. I mean, we see LeBron James going after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record, and that's probably going to be broken in the next 2 years. And we've seen Tom Brady go after Drew Brees' record. But it's so interesting the way that we look at this. Tom Brady is a machine. We will never see anybody like him in our lifetime.
No, and he's going to put that record way out of sight, too. It's just where he is right now in his career. I think that a big part of him moving to a warmer climate area has to do with playing further into his 40s. And Tampa Bay seems to pretty much let him operate the franchise as if he were the head coach or the owner, because you saw what happened last week where he said, I'm going back in to get Gronk his catch. And that's what he did. And then, hey, some people might have taken a problem with that higher up, but when it's Tom Brady, you can't. It's his team, and you knew what you were getting into when you signed him, and he's probably going to be the Tampa quarterback, I'd say, until he starts to show a significant decline and they have to trade him, and then somebody else will kick the tires on him.
But the rules are so easy for quarterbacks these days because, not only can you not hit them in certain places without being like suspended or fined, but also about the receivers as well. The receivers can do things that they couldn't do before. They have this defenseless receiver rule. Back in the day, they used to get blown up. I remember growing up, we would get videos on VHS and when DVDs first came out of like the hardest hits in the NFL for that year. And Sports Illustrated would promote it. They'd have commercials for it. Do you want to see players get blown to bits? And they would sell that and I'd buy it. My parents would get that for me. And I would be like, a year's worth of subscriptions to SI, you'd get the swimsuit edition, and you'd get these bloopers, and you'd get hardest hits. And that's not the case anymore. Because of that, these stats can be built up.
And I'm good with that. I think the spread offense era is a lot more fun, and you're talking about a lot less injury prone. And, that was the other thing. It got into mass media, and those big hits were the most popular part of the game. And they've conditioned us to almost cringe when we see them because that guy's concussed.
I know. And years later what ends up happening, and they lose their insurance and all those different fights that they've had to fight with the union there. But oh man, it's so difficult. And the NFL playoffs start this weekend. Cowboys taking on the 49ers. Viewing party, San Antonio Sports Star over at the Twin Peaks on 151 and 410. I will be there at 2:30 giving away prizes. We'll probably be there throughout the entire game as well. Come by, say hi to me, criticize my movie reviews, whatever you want to do. Come by and just say hi. Maybe Pledger might make a surprise appearance out there. We will see. But, the Super Bowl is, only about like 6 weeks away. And it's so weird looking at it because, we know who the top seeds are, Green Bay and Tennessee. We know that Tampa Bay is the defending champion and that the Chiefs won the AFC last year. Let's take those teams out of the equation. Okay? Basically taking out the top two teams out of every conference. And let's talk about who we think are the long shots that have a legitimate shot of winning the Super Bowl.
Are you trying to preemptively say the Eagles don't have a shot?
Well, according to Vegas, no, because I'm looking at their odds right now, and it's 65-1 odds that the Eagles win the Super Bowl. The Steelers right now are also at 65-1 odds. Raiders are at 40-1. Arizona Cardinals at 25. The Niners at 22. The Patriots at 20. The Bengals at 18-1. And then the top half have the Cowboys at 11-1. The Rams at 10. The Tennessee Titans at 8-1, the Bucks at 8-1, the Bills at 7.5-1, the Chiefs at 5-1, and the favorite to win Super Bowl 56, Green Bay Packers, at just under 4-1. Which is interesting because you could bet $100 that the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. You'll get your 100 back plus 375.
It's hard. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite to make gambling. Basically, you have to put up 100 to get 50 back in any of those situations. I would have to say the 49ers. They started off 3-5, but they've won 7 of their last 9. And if you look at the way their defense has really transformed from week 10 to week 18, they're allowing 18.1 points per game, 78 yards rushing, 15 takeaways, 30 sacks. It's really a dominant defense since just kind of that midway point of the season. And, the thing about the playoffs is peaking at the right time. Even those underdog Eagles back in 2017 peaked at the right time. And, it almost doesn't matter that the Cowboys were consistently winning games, and I would say they were really good. I don't know if we've seen this Cowboys team peak, which almost makes me wonder, are they going to peak at all? Maybe there was a peak and we just didn't notice it.
Yeah, the Niners are an interesting team because they have no names out there doing good things. We all know Kittle as their star tight end, and we know that Jimmy G's out there quarterback, but he's been getting hurt, and Trey Lance had to go out there and play some games out there. Elijah Mitchell is a player that I know a lot of fantasy players know about, but a lot of just average viewers of football may not know who he is. But he's had some big weeks. 2 weeks ago, he rushed for 119. Last week, he rushed for 85 yards against a very difficult Rams defense. Trey Sermon is now coming back, so they have a two-headed monster now in the backfield. That's a pretty good call right there, Carl. I like that. At 22-1 odds, you take a look at 22-1. I mean, you bet $100, it hits. You get your 100 plus 2,200 back.
And
not bad.
Garoppolo and the 49ers were just in the Super Bowl. It feels like 7 years ago, but only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Geez, I'm blanking on what years. 19?
It sounds right. It sounds right.
I'm going to go with that.
My long shot, and I've been saying this one for weeks, my long shot on this one is the Cincinnati Bengals. It's weird because I don't like the fact that they drew Oakland in the first round.
Is this your LSU bias showing? A little Joe Burrow?
Hey, man.
And Jamar Chase.
That's right.
Jamar Chase. I mean, stud receiver, stud quarterback. It starts right there. Stud receiver, stud running back, decent defense, decent complementary receivers. What more do you want, man? What more do you want? They're 18-1. Joe Mixon, I mean, they've just been giving the ball over and over and over again. He rushed over 300 times this year, I believe, and he missed a game on top of that. They're a very interesting team because on the quarterback side with Joe Burrow, we know what he can do on the national stage. He won a national title there for LSU, right? We know that he's not going to be nervous. He's not going to go away. Look at Joe Mixon's stats: 292 rushes for 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. He also receives the ball as well. I just think that they have all the ingredients there to go far. But they have to get by Oakland, and Oakland is that other scary team in the AFC. The two wild cards for me, the two teams where I was like, man, they're feisty. You don't know what you're going to get from them. They have high potential. Is Oakland and Cincinnati, and they happen to play each other. Sorry,
where's the turnover chain?
Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry, turnover chain. I should have known. But you know what? I
mean, that's no worse than Johnny Damon.
That's true. I probably should get it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of hard to say that, man. I was talking to my cousins yesterday, or we were texting back and forth. They live in LA. And it's funny how the Rams are there, the Chargers are there, and they honestly just don't care. And they're sports fans. They honestly don't care. It's weird how Los Angeles didn't have a team for a good while, and now they have two of them. No one cares.
And they came at the worst time because wasn't their first season the COVID season? So, any nostalgia or what is it, novelty that they were going to capitalize on, or maybe the nostalgia from when the Rams were previously in LA, just sort of the balloon popped. You didn't have that sort of momentum. But then on top of that, you don't have an established fan base there either, because when did the Rams leave LA? It was like early 80s, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around then. So, anybody that remembers LA, it was a different time.
They opened their new stadium in 2020 during the COVID pandemic. They were there before, if you remember.
That's right.
They were playing
at FC's.
The Chargers were playing at the FC stadium. The Rams actually were at the Rose Bowl.
That's right. No, you're right there. And no one showed up to those either.
Exactly.
I want to say they couldn't sell out the LAFC stadium, which only holds 17,000.
Okay, let's imagine that your favorite teams are in the playoffs right now. So my favorite team is New Orleans Saints. Carl's, yours is the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. Pledge is the Houston Texans.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Man. We're in the playoffs.
Let us say that we wanted to go watch our team in the playoffs, right?
Sean come back?
Would you guys pay for a standing room only seat? Or actually, it's not even a seat. Just to be in the stadium, standing room only. Would you ever pay for that?
I mean, if it's a big game, I remember when the Phillies were in the World Series, standing room only was like $430. If I was in Philadelphia and I was diehard enough about the Phillies, maybe, but actually probably not. No, it's ridiculous what those tickets guys.
It's absolutely not. And the reason is because unless you're one of the first people of the game that get to sit up on the rail, you can't see anything except that giant TV. So you might as well watch it from the comfort of your game. Where you can go to the bathroom and come back and not lose your spot.
And I agree.
And you could be there. You could be there in the front, have a great time, go to the bathroom, and your day's done.
You're done.
Your day's done. I'm taking a look right now.
You're watching it on TV just like me.
I'm on SeatGeek right now. Right now, if you wanted to have standing room for the Cowboys against the Niners this weekend, the best price right now is $186. $186 to have the right to go into the stadium.
What is
and
that
watch
after
it on
your
TV.
fees and taxes?
No, this is actually with the fees. I think I filtered it correctly.
That's not terrible though.
That's terrible.
But that's if you get the first two, because if you don't get the first two that are available, you'll be looking at about $206. I'm taking a look at the best seat that you can get in the house. How much do you think it would be for the best, not the best seat, the cheapest seat in the house?
$1,500.
Yeah, I want to say it's in that $1,500 to $2,000 range.
It is $348.
Oh, nice. Good.
It's considered to be an amazing deal according to SeatGeek. That is section 453, row 13. Essentially, when the American flag is being hoisted up there for you to have the national anthem, you can flick the flag, you can touch it.
Yeah.
You can caress it because you're so high up there that you're basically, I think the monitor would get in the way, right? That big monitor at Jerry World would get in the way. But there's some really expensive seats out here. I mean, if you want to get like down low, like I was at in the 26th row of a Saints game early this year against the Giants. That type of seat right there, you're going to be paying $1,700 a pop. What is the most you ever paid for tickets?
Man, I'm in media. I just send a credential in. No, I don't like to pay a lot of money for tickets. I want to say I bought like X Games tickets to see like Justin Timberlake in concert for like $60. And I think I paid $90 to see Drake at ACL one year.
That's not bad.
That's roughly my limit. I went to ACL for like $150 this year. I think that's roughly my limit.
About $250 a ticket to get, almost field level seats for a Texans Chiefs game.
That's a good one.
For a sports game, the most I ever paid was for a Spurs game. I believe it was the 2014 finals. I think I paid like $300 a pop for my tickets. For a concert, though, I got a box in Dallas to go see Panic at the Disco.
Ooh.
It was a Christmas festival. I took Gabby out there. She was in 8th grade. It was Panic at the Disco, a band called Sublime. It was Sublime with Rome and a few other bands. It was this big old festival they had over there, but Panic at the Disco was the headliner, and we had our own box. So, it was just kind of us and maybe another couple with their kids, and it was fun. It was good times. But we've got another 30 minutes to go here on halftime. When we come back, I don't know how to handle things like someone's passing, but I saw this thing online regarding Bob Saget's friends, and we're talking about superstars, John Mayer and popular comedian Jeffrey Ross, what they did to help out the Saget family over the weekend or the past couple of days since his passing. We're going to talk about that. We've also got headlines, sports headlines coming up. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Omicron has caused games to be postponed, stopped, and rescheduled. The NBA, NHL, NFL, and college hoops have all been affected by Omicron, leaving us fans high and dry.
It's unfortunate, to say the least. You don't know one day to the next what's going to happen.
Will the leagues continue to shut down players and play? Stay connected and talk about it here.
I hate masks, so we'll see how that goes.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pureline Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pureline Nutrition.
Joel, I'm committed to getting into shape, working out, exercising every day.
Great idea, little fat buddy.
I've invented the perfect exercise machine. It's practical, efficient, and fits in any home. I give you the Row and Go. Ta-da!
The Row and Go?
It's a rowing machine that connects to your toilet, so you can row and...
Stop. Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC will help homes, schools, offices, and buildings stay in tip-top shape. Every plumbing issue, every AC problem, it's our mission to fix them as fast as we can at a fair price. From the penthouse to the outhouse, call Quarter Moon 651-5899.
The Row and Go. It's going to change the way we exercise. And here's my tagline, Row and Go. It's fitness while you do your fitness.
Make it stop.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 651-5899. That's 651-5899.
License number M13229 TACLA 000743458E.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
1911 Cigars is the premier cigar lounge in South Texas, providing quality, affordable cigars in a professional, inviting environment with a large covered patio with TVs. A BYOB establishment, 1911 Cigars strives to allow the avid cigar connoisseur a comfortable place to relax, socialize, network, and of course enjoy a great cigar. 1911 Cigars is available for private events and has private cabanas with TVs, fire pits, and heaters. 1911 Cigars at 207 South Main Street in Cibolo. Online at 1911cigars.com.
The best seat in the house is on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Upload a photo of what's on your grill and enter a description and recipe at sasportstar.com, and you can win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. Winner chosen every Thursday at 6 on the Blitz. Welcome back to halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. My name is Michael Jimenez. Carl Schoening is with us today, along with James Pledger. We're here till 2 o'clock talking sports, pop culture, movies, anything that is nostalgic in nature. You know, this past week, we lost a legend in TV and comedy in Bob Saget. And we talked about him couple of days ago when the news broke that he had passed away. And it's interesting because whenever someone passes, you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get whenever something like that happens. I knew that when Betty White passed away, or Sidney Poitier earlier this week passed away, I knew that there would be tributes all over the place. But when it came to Bob Saget, I didn't know how he was going to be remembered. So this morning, I'm getting ready and I get on Instagram and I see John Mayer's page. I don't know why or how I saw John Mayer's page. I just did. He's not somebody that I follow. I mean, I respect him as a musician and he's been very popular for the past couple of decades. But I see him driving or passenger in a car and he's crying, John Mayer. And I'm looking and the person that he's with is a comedian named Jeff Ross, who's one of the roasters on the Comedy Central roast of fill in the blank, right? And I started listening to it, and it was 26 minutes of them eulogizing Bob Saget. But the weird thing was, they weren't just eulogizing him, they were retrieving his car because Bob Saget passed away in Orlando over the weekend. He was on a comedy tour. He had just given a performance. He died at the hotel. And he went to LAX. He left his car there. And the family had asked for this comedian, Jeff Ross, and for the singer, John Mayer, to go retrieve the car. And they went, they got his Prius, and they said that it cost over $200 to retrieve the vehicle from parking, but that they had to go up and down because they didn't know where he was or where he parked it. And they finally found the car, and they're driving down the 405 in California, and they're basically talking about his life and his memory. And John Mayer started crying. And you can go on to Instagram and check this out. It's on his page. And it's interesting because who would have thought? It's weird when celebrities are friends with other celebrities, right? I wish I could know who they are. We know that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are friends. We know stuff like that. But like, who would have thought that Bob Saget and John Mayer were that close to the point where Mayer is crying about his friendship, about his friend dying? And one of the weird things about this, Carl, was he was saying that if he had lost a family member or a friend, John Mayer talked about how he has never really lost people in his life, that the first person he would have called for advice would have been Bob Saget, and it just turns out that that's the one who passed. But what do you think about anybody, whether it be a regular person or a celebrity or whatnot, eulogizing the way that they did? Do you think that that's bad taste, or do you think that that is just kind of the way that things are these days to basically publicize something like that?
There are only a handful of things you can do with your social media platform that I'll say you're using it wrong. And that is not a wrong way to use it at all, because, you know, if you want to keep your emotions and thoughts private, then yeah, you can just kind of not elect to post it. If you want to go ahead and post it, I think that that's fine. You're right, though. You know, in this particular case, it's two celebrities that people who I'm not a big Uber celebrity guy. Like I wouldn't know John Mayer if he bumped into me, honestly. But it's just one of those things where there are people who loved Bob Saget, love John Mayer, and will sit and watch that entire 26 minutes because that's what's important in their life. And yeah, you know, if that's how people want to use their Instagram or what have you, that's fine by me. There are not many things on my list that would be reconsider that.
Yeah. I had mixed emotions when it came to it because when I was watching it the first 3 or 4 minutes, I was cringing. Like, I just thought, like, this is tacky. This is just not good. But as time went on and it went from them kind of joking around a little bit, because they weren't joking, they were just trying to like be upbeat. But when they started showing their emotions and whatnot, John Mayer started crying, and Jeff Ross talking about his relationship and how comedians kind of hang out with each other and know each other, and it's a different world, and how they respect each other and whatnot. I became better with it. I became okay with it. I showed it to Pledger earlier, and Pledger was like, "Yeah, this is not bad. This is not a bad thing to do." I don't know what to do in situations like that, and you know, it's funny. I talked about this on Monday, how when my favorite football team got knocked out of the playoffs or the chance to be in the playoffs, how I was upset about that. My wife, you know, doesn't understand that I really love sports to the point where if my team doesn't make the playoffs or they get knocked out, I'm upset. But she also kind of gets weirded out when I get upset when certain celebrities die. Carl, has there been a celebrity death where it affected you? I'm not saying it made you cry, but it just bummed you out for at least a day or two because they meant something to you in a nostalgic kind of way.
I'm sure there was. And I usually just don't, for the most part. 2020 had so many celebrity deaths.
Mhm.
So, probably Kobe, because, I saw all those Kobe games and, you sort of grow up with him as almost the villain in your life. But by the end of his career, you liked Kobe and, you really wanted to see what he would do in his retirement. And he had a lot of just very amusing things. He was a very good artist off of the basketball court. So I'd have to say Kobe's probably the one where it's just like, man, Kobe's gone. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a very good one because that was cross-generational. It didn't matter if you were 18 years old, 12 years old, or if you were 65 years old, you knew who Kobe was, and you knew his greatness and his popularity and everything about him that was good, bad, and ugly. We knew everything about it. And the fact that he died with his daughter was also just was even more crushing on top of it all. I know a lot of friends and family would say that Selena passing away back in, I want to say that's 95 was a big thing. I mean, I knew who she was and I had worked a concert of hers. So it's not like I didn't know who she was, but I wasn't like a fan back then. Over time and over the years, I did become a fan, but I'll be honest with you, I became a fan after the fact. Uh, but that really didn't impact me. But the ones that did most recently were probably various singers. Prince dying a handful of years back was big for me. And then 6 years ago, Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots died. And also the lead singer from Linkin Park, when he passed away, that really impacted me as well because I was looking at that and I was
Chester Bennington.
Chester Bennington. It impacted me because it was like, man, all my favorite singers have died. We take a look at like, the Rolling Stones are still in concert. I know Charlie Watt died earlier last year, but they still tour, and the Eagles still tour, even though Glenn Frey passed away recently. But you see how they were able to tour for so long, and my bands from the '90s can't do that because they're not around. Kurt Cobain's not around.
That one hurt me. As a kid.
Yeah, because I was like, why? It was the first time that I understood what a suicide was Kurt Cobain. Lane Staley passed away. We had Chris Cornell, who died as well. The singer from Sublime, he passed away before that band even became famous. So it's so weird. And so when Scott Weiland passed, I was like,
Steve
man,
McNair shook me a little too.
that from a sports perspective, along with Kobe, that one's a good one as well because it wasn't an accident. He was shot. And I'm not trying to take this show into negative town or anything like that, but it's just one of those things where we take a look at these athletes and they're mortal too. We take a look at these celebrities and they're mortal too. I just brought that up because I am not the kind of person who understands what to do and when to do when someone is sick or passing. I tend to clam up and not know what to say or what to do. But man, 90s music. I mean, Eddie Vedder's still around. And we've got Anthony Kiedis, and we've got basically Billy Joe Armstrong and Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, and that's basically about it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
of the main one, top tier rock bands.
Most recently, Chris Morales points out on our YouTube, Chadwick Boseman, because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it was because his illness was hidden.
Yeah, it didn't know it was coming. It was basically just all of a sudden he passed and he had cancer and it was terminal and it was stage 4 and we had zero clue. And I had just seen him in Endgame. Robin Williams, heard a lot.
Wow, that one right there, man. Robin Williams. But it's kind of funny. To go to a positive side of all this, I saw a great tweet, or I don't know if it was on Instagram or it was a post on Instagram or a tweet on Twitter. Someone saying that how great Betty White was the fact that she died 2 weeks before her 100th birthday, and people thought she died too soon. I thought that was a very fitting way of talking about that. But man, and I see that you're doing what's it called? What's on Tap, right? For the Blitz.
Oh yeah,
dude. LOL Comedy Club. I need to go to the comedy club, man. I haven't been to a comedy club in a while. Pledge. Let's make this happen in the next few weeks, dude. Let's go to the comedy club. Let's go check out something, man. Carl, are you a comedy guy?
I almost became a stand-up comedian. Then I found out how maddening it was to have to create jokes constantly.
Now, what is the content that you would have as jokes? Like, would you be?
I would have to probably go under pseudonym if I wanted to be hired for anything else.
Really? So very blues, what you're saying?
Yeah, I would probably, nothing like, I guess that would get me canceled, hopefully, but I would have fun with it. You're an actor, you're a persona, you're not who you actually are up there, but people will say, well, this was in your comedy act, we can't hire you.
Real fast. You're Mount Rushmore. You're 4 of stand-up comedians.
Robin Williams, George Carlin, Richard Pryor and several that followed him, so I'd probably have to say Eddie Murphy will round that out.
Very nice. Robin Williams was great at stand-up. I remember
those are all before your time.
You need to watch Die Hard, right? That's the movie he needs to watch, right?
Stand-up comedy is not as good as it used to be.
It can't be anymore, man. You get canceled out.
That's not true.
I almost got canceled out on Twitter yesterday for saying that Tombstone was a C+ movie. But
you are canceled.
Hey, we're going to put a bow on the show on the other side. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Roll home with Joe Reinagel and Jason Minix. The ride home made easy. The Blitz this afternoon at 4. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The San Antonio Spurs fell to the Houston Rockets last night, 128-124. The Rockets were led by Eric Gordon, who had 31 points and made 6 threes, while DeJounte Murray picked up a 32-point triple-double. The New York Knicks were too much for the Dallas Mavericks to handle, with the Knicks defeating Dallas 108-85 last night. R.J. Barrett put up 32 points to propel the Knicks to the win. Tonight in Norfolk, Virginia, the UTSA Roadrunners men's basketball team will be hosted by Old Dominion, a 6 p.m. tip-off on ESPN+. And the Dallas Cowboys received good news that Micah Parsons and Tyron Smith were both cleared from the COVID list and are expected to be active against the 49ers for the wildcard game. Kickoff is Sunday at 3:30 and can be heard right here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Carl Schoening.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey, Carrie, we need that tax report by tomorrow. Hey, Bobby, give me that expenses.
For Hari's accounting firm, client growth is
I
exponential.
know we're a couple of accountants short.
He needs whip-smart accountants at whiplash speed.
Hey, so why aren't these receivables matching up?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Want to get out of your dead-end job, but think you don't have time? Think again. Now you can complete the My Computer Career Evening Program in 30 weeks, almost 30% shorter. You could start your new life as an IT pro in months, not years. More than just a school, My Computer Career helps you get into the industry by working with employers that have hired our students. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. It's not rocket science, it's mycomputercareer.edu.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. And with helpful representatives just a call away, it's easy to understand why Pi is rated excellent by customers on Trustpilot. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
All used cars are not the same. At Give Me the VIN, we pay more for the clean ones. You got a nice one that's nicer than everybody else's? Go to GiveMeTheVIN.com, load it up. I'll pay you more. If it's normal, we'll pay you the top of normal. If it's crappy, we'll pay you the top of crappy. But we do understand the difference at GiveMeTheVIN.com, and we can price them both. But we're America's best car buyer because we bought $1 billion of cars in 2021. Only at
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
The Cowboys are on the road to the big game, and it all starts this Sunday as our Cowboys take on the 49ers, and San Antonio Sports Star is live to cover it all. Join us this Sunday at Twin Peaks Westover Hills location at 410 and 151 to help us cheer on the Cowboys. The party starts at 2:30 alongside the beautiful ladies of Twin Peaks. Of course, you know we always bring swag wherever we go. That's this Sunday, starting at 2:30 at Twin Peaks Westover Hills, the location at 410 and 151. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
If it's rim wrecking board busting action you want, then come and get it.
Catching a right hand dunk.
The greatest ballers on earth are doing their thing on the hard court, and we bring it to you. Catch the action on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Everything's bigger in Texas. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
What song is this, Pledge?
Do you not know?
I don't know.
One of the greatest bands of all time?
Who is this?
Dude, this is Led Zeppelin.
I know Led Zeppelin, but I've never heard of this song.
It's Full in the Rain.
Okay, my bad. No, Nope, I don't know this one. So sorry, I'm going to be canceled again.
Carl has zero clue, but I don't expect
when I think Led Zeppelin, I think of like Dancing Days. I mean, that's that's a song that I like from Zeppelin, but I didn't recognize that one. I was
Full
like,
in the Rain's an all-time great Zeppelin song.
I mean, I like back in the day music like old Rolling Stones music.
The Doors.
The Doors, great, even better movie. I love that movie. But welcome back to halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star. It's been a fun show today. The Blitz is coming back at 4 o'clock. Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel will have Mickey Spagnola of DallasCowboys.com at 5 o'clock. John McClain, who covers the Texans for the NFL and the NFL for the Houston Texans, he's coming on at 5:30, but it's going to be good times. Mystery Science Theater 3000 live is coming to the Tobin Center, apparently.
Dude,
I'm seeing this. Dude.
I'm aware, but you're stealing the Blitz's thing.
Oh, okay. First of all, real fast, were you a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of guy?
No idea what you're talking
Absolutely, I was.
That was an amazing show. I wish it came back. And since you are a big fan of comedy, well, it did for a while. You're right. It did come back. Mystery Science Theater 3000 was basically the show on Comedy Central that would show really, really bad movies. And it had these...
It wasn't Comedy Central. This was actually movies.
Well, right. But it aired on Comedy Central. And you had Tom Servo, and you had all of these different robots out there. It's about this guy stuck in space, and it's like an experiment forcing him to watch these bad movies, kind of like Tombstone. Anyway, he would watch those movies, and he'd have these robot companions, and they would just take pot shots at the show, kind of like the old guys in the Muppets.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
But
okay,
it's
I know what you're
throughout
talking
the
about.
entirety of the movie. It is nothing but quips as if you were to watch a bad movie with your friend.
Yeah, and these are the worst.
Make fun of it during the movie. That's all they're doing.
I can dig a theme concept like that.
These were the worst movies of the worst movies. These were B and C level
These
type
were
movies.
D and F movies.
Yeah.
Do we have time for a Kef bomb? Because he has a pretty big one out of San Marcos.
Here we go. Hurry up.
Kef has confirmed that Alabama offensive line transfer Tommy Brown visited Texas State yesterday. He's 6'7", 320.
Bring it, baby.
Yeah, he
Bring
played
it.
28 games for Alabama in his career.
Eat 'em up, Cats. This has been fun. We'll be back tomorrow for another edition of Halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I can't wait to watch you guys play.
We're ready for y'all.
Let's go.
The NFL playoff picture is coming